Hello everybody and welcome to Parks Bros. It's Drew here and I'm with Cali Coasters / Zach. And we're just looking at Galaxy's Edge right now because the opening date is so close to us now. And all the rock work looks done, so that's incredible, honestly. But we're debating whether to go to opening day or not. So we want your suggestions. Should we go to opening day? Because it'll cost us like $1,000 because hotels. So, but we'll see if we actually do that. Just let us know what you think we should do. Should we go? But we're definitely really excited for what is going to happen with this space of Disneyland very soon. But as of right now, let's head into the park.
There may be no lap sitting, except for very young children who are sitting with their parents.
It is good to be back home. But as you can see, the castle's still under scaffolding, so we will not be able to see this as of yet. All part of projects to make the resort better.
Look at that little building.
Okay. Another thing to spot is that the Astro Orbiter is back up and running, it looks like, or it might be testing, but I'm guessing it's up and running by the way it was just doing its cycle. But right next to the castle, there are tons of construction walls lining all the way down towards... Oh, what's that restaurant called? Oh my gosh. What is that restaurant called, Zach? I'm losing my mind.
I remember it flashing.
Oh my gosh. I'm losing my mind. But anyways, the walls go all the way halfway down to where the main buildings, the main stretch of buildings on Main Street start. So we're at the entrance to Adventureland. And there seems to be new signage. I'm so confused. The main sign has been taken down, as well as this little roof that used to be here. I am so perplexed, and I can't believe the Adventureland sign for the first time in my life is no longer here. I'm sure they will put up a new one in the future that is expanded and longer to be able to reach this gap, which is now a good, 4 feet wider or so. But so bizarre to not see a sign at the entrance of Adventureland. And including with the sign going away, you can also see that you can finally have this look down towards the wheel spoke. But we've come to Adventureland for one reason, and that reason is probably our favorite ride in the park, Indiana Jones, with only a 25-minute wait. Let's do it. Hidden Mickey? So we just got off of Indy, and Indy, of course, as always, is absolutely fantastic. Tony Baxter, you are my favorite.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Hot, because Fantasmic's going on
and
right
actually,
now.
because it is 10:30, Fantasmic just started up. We actually debated watching it right now, but we're actually going to go ride Space Mountain instead for probably our last ride of the night, because the park does close at 11 tonight, which is quite odd, in all honesty, on a Saturday. But it is the Saturday right before Easter, and we've only been here for about 20 minutes anyways, so I can't complain about getting on arguably the two biggest rides in the park. So let's go ride Space Mountain. But speaking of Tony Baxter, the Imagineer, he was apparently spotted on top of this terrace where the People Mover used to be. So maybe we will be seeing a demolition of the People Mover or a complete redoing of Tomorrowland itself. But let's head in. So one thing that's quite startling as we make our way over to Space Mountain is that the entirety of Pizza Port is under scaffolding. I mean, this is honestly my favorite restaurant to go to in the park, just for the chicken facility itself. But hopefully we'll be seeing some nice changes, much needed changes to Pizza Port in the near future. But as of right now, let's go ride Space Mountain. But just to let you know, Pizza Planet, as it is right now, not Pizza Port, is still open. They're just redoing the outside. So you can definitely still get your chicken facility while you want it. But we're going to go wait for 40 minutes, it looks like, for Space Mountain. Here's another quick look at Pizza Port as of right now. Doesn't look like they're touching the spaceship as of right now. I'm probably just doing a repaint on that. But the rest of the building, I think they're going to change the actual structure itself. I feel like they were lying about the 40-minute wait, because usually we'd be outside and not just walking straight in. And usually we'd be using the extended queue over here, which I have still yet to use, by the way. I have not been inside that building since it was actually Starcade itself. But let's walk straight into Space Mountain, I guess. Because we're all in this together. Oh, it is so good to be back in here. Back row. Let's do this thing. So I will have a full explanation in just a moment, but we might have just gotten our first in-show exit in my history of living. Round 2, anyone? Okay, we just had a whirlwind of things happen within the span of about 15 minutes. So we were riding Space Mountain, rode it in the back row, which was fantastic. I think that's the best row for the ride, honestly. But then we get to the station. Our restraints don't release, so we're getting confused. Then we go to the transfer track in front of the station, which is usually used for, you know, handicapped passengers or people with ADA passes that struggle to get onto the ride without any assistance. But then they're like, oh wait, this isn't the right train. So we got mistaken on the wrong train to be put on the transfer track. And because of that took so long, they decided, oh, let's put them backstage. So we ended up actually, instead of making a right turn at the control booth, we made a left and ended up in the backstage. Zach actually took a Snapchat just cause, and it was really cool.
Push the train themselves.
Yeah, so actually one thing that happens when you turn left, they actually have to physically push the train because there's no mechanism apparently to do that. So it was pretty incredible to be actually given an in-show exit tonight because we were actually talking beforehand about...
I was literally like, dude, honestly, it'd be cool to like have an ERT or something like that, or the lights on this ride, but like the chances of that happening in a day in a huge crowd like that, it's very hard to do.
Super slim.
And then that happened.
Yeah. So they ended up taking 2 full trains off back where we were, and we ended up touching the Coma track.
Yeah, I stepped on it, touched it, it was good. And we saw projectors.
Yeah, we saw projectors sitting on the side. The whole experience was amazing, and I know it kind of ruins the magic a little bit, and I get that. But being here, you know, coming here for more than 2 decades, and finally getting an in-show exit was incredible to be able to experience that. I am so unbelievably happy right now. It's ridiculous. And then, of course, afterwards, they're like, hey, you guys want to ride again? Because we took you here. I mean, you might as well ride again. So we just rode again in the 3rd row. And that is honestly one of my favorite things that's ever happened here. And we just came here on a whim for like an hour. And we got all that. So that was absolutely incredible. But now the park has actually been closed for 20 minutes. Yeah. So we got to start to head out. So let's walk towards Main Street. And I think he's going to buy himself a lanyard.
I need a lanyard.
Yeah. Let's do that. So this is a sight you never see. A completely empty Tomorrowland, except for, you know, 1 cast member. But that's completely cool to be able to see Tomorrowland this empty with Zach trying to disco dance, I suppose. But look at that. The only people in this area right now are either cast members or just getting off Space Mountain just like us. It's crazy when this park is this empty. And it's absolutely incredible to see it like this. Now, in the next couple months, we definitely won't see it like this anymore. So this is something we'll have to cherish. Also, if you did not know, Astro Orbiter is for sure open again. We saw it running right when we were walking over to Space Mountain. I must say though, Disneyland, when it's empty, is the best Disneyland because you can get shots like this. It is absolutely gorgeous tonight. But yeah, so the walls actually go all the way to the Jolly Holiday. That's the word I was looking for earlier in the video. So it's pretty interesting to see all this being done. I think it's for Project either Stardust or Pixie Dust. I think it's Stardust. I can't remember the name right now. But look at Zach. He's having a lot of fun just in the empty space. Okay, it just got cringy. But regardless, you can see how many people are actually out right now. You can actually, yeah, you can do that. But it is absolutely amazing to see the park this empty. And you can only see it this empty realistically on really slow weekdays or Saturdays at the end of the night. So it is absolutely amazing to see it like this though. So we're totally taking like pictures as much as we can in Main Street, but we're walking by great moments with Mr. Lincoln over here. And you can see the Mad Hatter has scaffolding all around it right now. And it looks like they're redoing some of that paint as well as possibly just some refurb on it, which is great news. So honestly, with this little trip on a whim, it honestly was one of my favorite Disney trips ever, just for that experience on Space Mountain, as well as riding Indiana Jones and just checking out Main Street when it's at its quietest. So honestly, if you can come out for the last 2 hours of operation, it's not a bad decision at all. Honestly, it's not a bad choice. It's one of the best choices you can make for coming to Disney parks, at least until Galaxy's Edge opens, which that's going to be a whole nother beast. So we're definitely going to visit as much as we can before then, and hopefully during then as well. So we're just out by La Brea Bakery right over here, and we noticed that there was a van, a Honda Odyssey. In fact, seems like Honda has a sponsorship deal at Disneyland. Yeah, I just find it a little funny that, you know, other parks will take on sponsorships, but Disney, out of all the parks, actually takes in a lot of sponsorships for a lot of things.
Exquisite interior.
Okay, all right. We don't want to turn into a Honda ad, please. I mean, I've never actually like.
Hey Honda, if you want to like.
No. Dunkin' Donuts first, okay, bud. I had some this morning. They were delicious.
And then, can like Pagani sponsor us?
Pagani? You want a free Huayra? Yeah, that's
Yes,
happening.
please.
Totally. I wish. Yeah. So we just stopped by the secondary Starbucks in downtown Disney and got myself a iced chai. But looking inside the old ESPN zone, which will now be pop-up Disney, it seems, looks pretty empty inside. And look at that, we're back where we started today's adventure. And now we're gonna head back to the car. The most magical ride at the Disneyland Resort, the car. Ain't that right, Zach? Yeah! It startles me every time. He's so loud. Actually, speaking of being really loud today, here is him scaring me while I tried filming the fireworks as we were driving in.
What's going on, guys? It's Cali Coasters. Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, that was bad. It really got me actually the first time. But it's been a pretty fantastic and eventful hour and a half or so. Definitely a lot more happened than I was expecting. I mean, we only rode 2 rides.
It felt like it was a really long day.
It felt like a full day, honestly. And we only did 2 things, really. I mean, you could say maybe like 4 or 5.
For like 5 minutes.
Not even 5 minutes. It was like 30 seconds.
Yeah, we were like, oh, that's cool. We'll check it out later. And then we just walked to Space Mountain.
And then we walked to Space Mountain and got, evac'd up. Or sorry.
Great timing.
In-show exited on
I'm glad we looked at
Space
Fantasmic
Mountain
for 30 seconds.
Yeah, so am I actually.
It was good.
But yeah, it all worked out and came full circle tonight, which was awesome.
I bought a lanyard.
He bought a lanyard.
Yeah.
He's excited about that.
Because I actually really needed a lanyard, and I was like, I like this one, so I bought it.
That's cool. But now it's actually about midnight, and it is pretty much Easter. So if you celebrate Easter, happy Easter, by the way. This will probably be coming out the day after Easter, is my guess. But we'll just have to wait and see for that. But yeah, happy Easter. And also, thank you so much for watching this video. And if you're new, make sure to subscribe if you have not, because we've got tons of ridiculous content, as you can tell by this footage at least. And yeah, make sure to stay tuned, because we're going to have tons of stuff in the next couple months. Honestly, the last couple weeks of May are going to be the most hectic of pretty much my life. So it should be a lot of fun. But until next time, of course, as always, we'll see you on the next ride.